Welcome, Breakthrough students. How are we doing? My name is Ryan. I am the ninth grade science teacher with Breakthrough this year. And for today's elective, we are going to learn about masks, right? And by masks, I'm talking about like these things, right? I got my nice Breakthrough mask. Pretty cool, right? See us wearing these. You see people wearing these when you go out in public. Like, why are we wearing them, right? Like, what do they do, right? So we're gonna take a little bit of time to look into, right, what people who do research, what they're saying about it, uh, what masks do, what they don't do. So yeah, let's get into it. So to understand how masks help, we have to understand how the coronavirus spreads, right? Um, so simply put, the coronavirus is a virus, right? And viruses, they replicate, by going inside of our bodies and using our bodies to make more of them. Okay, so right, stopping the spread is about stopping the virus from getting inside of us, right? Um, so the viruses, right, different viruses spread in different ways, but a lot of them spread through water droplets, and that's how the coronavirus spreads. Okay, so the coronavirus gets in our body through these droplets that we breathe in, and then the coronavirus reproduces inside of us, and then we breathe it back out to other people. Okay, it's the same for the flu, right? Other things. Um, so, right, these droplets, we are emitting droplets from ourselves constantly, right? Me talking is giving out these water droplets, right? If I cough, if I laugh, uh, breathing, right? All these things, you're constantly giving out respiration, right? These water droplets, right? If you want proof of it, go up to a window and breathe up against the window, right? You're going to see it fog up. You're going to see droplets of water, right? And so those droplets of water contain other things inside of them, all right? So right, when we're talking about the coronavirus and how it spreads, right? So it replicates in our lungs. We breathe it out. It stays in the air for a little bit, but as time passes, right, these droplets start to fall, right, and they fall onto our surfaces. So if we look at the picture on the right, right, it's not just about breathing on top of people and it going right into their mouth, right? It's breathing onto surfaces. It's breathing onto our hands, and then our hands touching stuff. And so if you have the coronavirus and you breathe it onto your hands, right, and then your hand goes and you touch everything, and you touch other people, right, and then they touch it, and then somehow that gets into their mouth, into their nose, right, that's gonna contaminate them maybe, right? Um, Looking at the picture on the left, right, so there's some droplets, right, it all just depends on the size of them, right? Some of them drop very close. Some of them, like I'd say a lot of them stay within like 6 feet, right? But they can go on a while, right? If we looked around us, right, in the air, there's probably some nasty stuff in the air, but a lot of it doesn't affect us, right? And so if you look on the picture on the left, that's why we try to socially distance at least 6 feet, right? Because if we stay at least 6 feet away from each other, 90% of the time, the coronavirus isn't going to reach us through simply like breathing or talking, right? So now let's look into why we wear these babies, right? Um, I mean, if I just put on this mask right here, and you guys can try this sometime too, um, and I breathe, if I try to like blow out of my mask, I feel it a little bit on my hand, right? But I really don't feel it that much, right? And so you can see how the masks help from these droplets getting outside to other people, right? Exposing other people. If I blow my hand regularly, right, I didn't even blow that hard to feel it, right? And so that's what the masks do in protecting us, or not protecting us individually, but protecting us as a whole from the coronavirus. Okay, And so if we look on the thing on the left, right, the infographic on the left, right, the person on the left is the person who has COVID, and the person on the right doesn't, right, healthy person, okay? So person with COVID, right, breathes out these droplets, and they go to a person without a mask, right? It's a high risk situation because they have nothing. Neither of them are protecting themselves from these droplets getting transmitted to a different person, right? If just the healthy person wears a mask, right, there's still like a pretty good risk at it, right? And we'll get into why that is in like next slide. If the person who has COVID is wearing a mask, right, it definitely lowers the risk by a lot. And then if both people are wearing a mask, right, it amplifies that, right? And then both people wearing a mask and social distancing, right, it's pretty foolproof, right, as far as like mouth to mouth transmission, right? And different masks do different things, right? We'll talk about this in the different masks too, but right, this is like a cloth mask, okay? Not very expensive, right? Does its job, but these are good for like the average person, right? Someone who isn't working in a hospital, right? Who isn't exposed to the coronavirus a lot, right? People in hospitals, right? If you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, like they're not going to be wearing cloth masks because it doesn't serve them super well, right? And so if we look at the purpose of each different masks, right? The do-it-yourself mask, kind of like a cloth mask. There's definitely research being done on it right now, and the general consensus right now is that they do a pretty good job, like pretty good, meaning like maybe like 90%, 95% of keeping the virus in, right? Not only that, but it tells people to like, hey, I am being socially conscious. I don't want you to be super close to me, right? Like we're in a pandemic, right? So, right, I think sometimes if you're not wearing a mask in public, it can give off the idea of, oh, I don't care about getting it or spreading it, right? And so it's kind of something that we all should do together for that reason alone, right? For spreading awareness. The medical masks, right? These are the ones that you guys that we hand out usually. They're usually cheaper, single use, right? And they're better than just like typical masks, okay? They do a better job at protecting you and protecting others. And then like a filtration mask, I don't have any examples of these, but they're pretty expensive. And these are what actually like protect you from getting the virus, right? These are what like one name is like the N95, if you heard that, right? These are what doctors are wearing, and these things filter out the air very well, right? If you look at the effect, protects the wearer from solid and liquid aerosis, and so like nanoparticles. And so, right, those stop it from coming in. But those are also expensive and really not useful to the general public, and we should probably be saving those for doctors and people in nursing homes, simply because, right, we don't want to be using up all of it. If you look on the picture to the right, this person's wearing a mask, and I think this is a coughing example, right? The green is like the water droplets, like what he's breathing out, and so you see a lot of the green is being contained within the mask or very close to within the mask, right? If you didn't have it, it would be much more spread out. And so this shows the masks, like what it does, right? The effectiveness of the mask. And, right, we see some droplets going out, right? And so it's not perfect, but if you looked at the percentage and how far those particles end up traveling, it does a very good job of containing these droplets, okay? Let's talk about what masks, what they don't do, right? What masks don't do is that they do not protect you from others. Okay, like great. Okay, so why that is, right, is when you wear this mask, and let's say I have a person right here who's breathing the coronavirus onto me. Okay, this mask might protect me from the coronavirus coming in right away, right? But with cloth masks, these things are very absorbative, if that's a word, right? The coronavirus is going to stick onto this mask. And, right, different research is being done on it. Like I said earlier, we're not super positive on the to the extent of the effectiveness of as far as protecting yourself. Uh, but right, you have it in your mask, you breathe it in, right? You might be exposed to a little bit just from breathing it in that way, right? And also, right, the coronavirus just doesn't spread through the air, okay? Um, if I touch a handle that someone breathed the coronavirus onto, right, and I touch my face, I touch my mouth, um, I touch my phone, and then I end up touching my face, right? Uh, that's another way how it spreads. And so we shouldn't have the idea of that I'm going to wear this mask and I'm not going to get the coronavirus, right? Because it's just not the case. But if everyone wore a mask, right? Um, if everyone wore a mask, then it would stop the spread and it would protect us as a whole collectively, right? And so it's not, you can't think about it just about you individually, but it's about protecting others, okay? And others protecting you by wearing your mask, right? Um, if you look at how COVID spreads, right? Let's say I have the coronavirus and then I spread it to two people and then they spread it to two people, right? Then all those people spread it to two more people, right? Next thing you know, because of me not wearing a mask, right, 64 other people have the virus because of me, right? And that could be stopped anywhere along the line. But yeah, so we all need to do our part to stop the spread and to kind of cut off that line of who you're going to spread it to, right? Um, like I said, right, these masks are pretty absorbative. So, right, these different things get caught in these masks, and so you have to wash them, right? Uh, these are reusable, which is nice because they're cheap. And one thing that I definitely don't do it as much as I should, right? But we have to wash them if you want to really, uh, if you're trying to protect yourself, right? If this mask, if you're out in public a lot and you're wearing the same mask and you think it's doing a great job protecting you, if you're like around a lot of people, right, you're just like building up a lot of problems within the mask, right? And so washing your masks, right, every couple of times you use them, at least, right, is going to help you not get the coronavirus that way, right? And then also wearing a mask is not an excuse to social distance, right? So go back to this picture, right? The mask do a really good job of containing the virus, but it does not do a perfect job, right? And so, right, the guidelines, usually what people say is 6 feet. And if you are wearing a mask and you are 6 feet apart, right, you're going to be pretty safe, generally speaking, as far as transmitting it. And so don't view this mask as like a superpower or I can't think of another word, but it's not something that is going to protect you at all means, right? These are some other questions that I thought of that you guys might be having, right? So I thought I'd talk about them, right? If you're at risk or someone you live with is at risk, what should you do, right? Right, the coronavirus to a lot of you students, to me, right, the younger population, is not super dangerous, okay? Like the death rate and like the serious injury rate for our age is not super high, right? as they get older, right, we're talking maybe your parents, especially your grandparents, right? These are the people that are going to be seriously damaged and affected if they get the coronavirus, right? And so those are the people that you want to try to really protect. And so, right, if you are hanging out with your friends a lot and you want to go over and see grandma and grandpa, right, or some other older relative or family friend, right, that's something that you should think about, right? Is it worth it, right? Is it worth it to expose myself to them, right? There's benefits and risks to everything that we do, and if the risks outweigh the benefits, then we should change our course, right? And so, but right, if you live with this person, right, a lot of these times people with like heart disease or like cancer or diabetes, right? A lot of different different diseases that we're going to be learning about in ninth grade that you guys can look up pretty easily online, right? You need to be extra careful, right? And so washing your hands, right? Washing your face, your clothes, your masks, right? And maybe even like upping your mask, right? The surgical masks do a better job, I would say, of protecting yourself and protecting others. And so I think that would be a good investment. While they are single use, and so you'd have to kind of buy like packages of them, I think that if the risks are there, then it's a good investment. Next question, should I wear a mask even if I'm not sick? Yes. Okay. I think this is a problem that a lot of people run into. They're like, oh, like if I'm not sick and the mask doesn't protect me necessarily, like super well, and I'm not worried about spreading to others because I don't have it, right? That's just not the case, right? A lot of times we can spread it to people, and this is what happens, right? We spread it to people before we even show symptoms of the coronavirus, right? And a lot of people are asymptomatic, right? They don't show symptoms. And so these people can be spreading the virus to others without even knowing it, okay? So that's something that you should definitely keep in mind is that, you know, we're living in a time where we don't know if we have it and we can spread it, right? The better testing gets and the more often we test is going to help this. But as of right now, especially if you were in a situation like with a lot of people, right? It's good to take precautions and wear a mask and maybe take a couple days, 3-4 days, right, to socially distance and see if anything comes up. Do I need to wear a mask from my house or car? I would say that you don't need to, right? Most of the time, right? It's not a definitive thing, but right, if you're in your car, you're not really exposed to the virus at all. There are people who say, right, you can't just go around wearing your masks all the time, right? You can't be like wearing your mask for more than 6-8 hours at a time is not good for your health, right? And so, right, when you are by yourself, you're in your room, you're in your car, right? These are times where you don't necessarily have to wear your masks, right? Yeah. Another thing is that masks are part of the solution, not the only solution, right? So going back to what I said, right? This is not, it's not the answer, right? This is not going to solve all of our problems, right? Right. The virus spreads a lot of different ways. It spreads through surfaces, right? I would say that's something that, right, the masks do not necessarily protect you from, right? And so, right, while masks are great and do an amazing job of stopping the spread, we should definitely do these other things to kind of follow in line, right? Right, so not touching public surfaces, right? Right, when you go to stores, not just touching everything and then putting it back and putting your hands on the rails, right? Right, you definitely want to limit yourself to doing that, because if someone else who has done that, who had the virus on their hands, right, then you have a chance of infecting yourself, right? Not touching your face. This is like, right, you have the virus on your hands, you touch your face, you end up touching your mouth, touch your nose, right? Easy way to get infected. So a third point, right, goes along with the two previous ones, right? Washing your hands. So washing your hands gets the virus off your hands, right? Washing them thoroughly, right? If you never wash your hands, like one, like it's nasty, and two, right, especially nowadays, like that's just dangerous, right? So washing your hands, getting the virus off of them, is a great step in protecting yourself and then ultimately protecting others. Washing your mask and clothes, like I said before, those get dirty, right? And then disinfecting your house, your phone, things you touch, right? This is just, it's good preventative measures, especially our phones, right? Like our phones are pretty gross. I think I read something a while back. Don't, you guys can fact check me on this, okay? But that our phones are just as dirty as like a toilet, right? Because we're touching them nonstop and we never clean them, right? We never think about cleaning them. And so, right, washing these things that we're constantly touching is just going to make us healthier, right? It's gonna protect us. You can do this through like disinfectant wipes. It's like a very easy thing, right? Right, taking disinfectant wipes, wiping down your phone, wiping down, I guess you guys don't drive yet, but wiping down your steering wheel, your parents' steering wheel, right, tables in your house that you guys ignore, right, door handles, right. These are things that cleaning will help you in the long run. When you should wear masks, right? A lot of different places, right? I'm not gonna list off all of them, but I think like these three like rules are pretty good in like simplifying it, right? If you're in a public space that other people are around, right? If you're around a lot of people, and then if you're with people that you're not exposed, have not been exposed to, right? And so, right, if you're in your house and you have your parents, like your guardians, siblings, right, and you're constantly around each other, you don't really have to wear masks, because if one of you guys have had it, have it, then it's gonna spread pretty easily, I guess. It's kind of, right, especially if they've been doing stuff, you guys been doing stuff together, and they have already been exposed, they don't know that you've been exposed, right? It's just kind of like, you know, we all have our bubbles, right? That's kind of like their big thing. It's like, stick to your bubble and don't spread outside of your bubble. And so, right, you go out in public, you go to a store, you should definitely wear your masks. This fall, I think you guys are opening up schools as of now, right? You go to school, like you're going to be required to wear a mask, right, around these people, just to protect others and protect yourself, right? And so, right, they might be annoying at times, right? Wearing it for a long time, you're like, oh, like, I can't breathe, whatever, like, right? But it's for a greater cause, okay? And you should definitely keep that in mind. Okay, well, that's all I really have for you guys today, right? It's just like a short look into it, very simple look, and very interesting stuff to look into on your own, okay? It's not very hard to find information on the internet about it, right? But definitely make sure your sources are good, right? The CDC, they have like a whole section on masks and why you should wear them, who shouldn't wear them, who should wear them, right? Spend some time going through that website. And I'll put in the link in the description underneath the video. But for the elective, to show that you completed it, I want you to email breakthroughelectives@gmail.com, shout out Joe, and say, answer the question, why are masks effective in stopping the spread of the coronavirus, and where you should wear them. Okay, so send that answer to that email, and you're good. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all on Friday maybe, or my ninth graders will see you in class. Peace.